Hello again, Montreal. Suburban Radio Hour. Harold Wiseman, editor of the Suburban. My friends and colleagues, Anthony Bonaparte, features editor, Mark Littbetter, sports editor. And Mark, you're a very interesting guest today.
Yes, I do. I have Chloe Michel on the line, and along with her fellow McGill schoolmates, Jean Lacombe and Felix Marcel Gendreau, are off on an adventure of a lifetime as Team Boreal. The trio, along with a guide, will canoe 2,000 kilometers from Oka to James Bay over the course of 100 days. And Chloe, welcome. And my first question is, why?
Yeah, thank you, Mark, for inviting me. So we're doing this since we're four people that come from the world of canoe camps, and we spent all our summers as kids and teenagers in a canoe on expeditions, and it's something we love. So we wanted to do this big expedition for us to have this incredible adventure, but mostly to inspire the young generation right now to be bold, to make projects of their own, and to believe in themselves, and to go out in nature and do an adventure.
Now, do you want to mention you're all three of you are from McGill, from the McDonald campus out in St. Anne de Bellevue. Who are the other members of your team?
Yeah, so three of us just graduated from bioresource engineering in McGill, and the fourth member of our team is a guide. So he's a ski guide in the winter and a canoe guide in the summer. And we've all worked also in the canoe teaching industry.
Now, how do you prepare for this? Now, you're not just talking, let's go for a paddle on Lac St. Louis.
No.
What are some of the difficult areas you're going to hit on this journey?
Yeah, so we've been preparing for 2 years now. It's been many different steps, such as the logistics, the maps, the different communication we have to plan, because we'll use satellite phones. So our trip is divided into 3 parts. The first part, we're going against the current. We're going up the river for 600 kilometers during springtime, where the water levels are at the highest and at the strongest. This is our first challenge, a very big one. And then the second part of our trip, we will be crossing the Great Lakes. This is also a challenge because the Great Lakes, it's similar to paddling the sea. The wind can be very strong, the waves can be extremely big. So this is our second part. And then our last part of the trip is going down the river. It's called the Mississippi and the Moose River. And this is the part where we will be doing rapids and more technical type of canoeing.
Will you be portaging, I guess? Any portaging involved in that, where you're going to be carrying the canoes?
Yes. On the Ottawa River, there's many dams. So this will include portaging. And then on the Mississippi Moose River, there's many waterfalls. So that includes also not going down the waterfalls, but instead portaging for many kilometers each time.
Now, obviously, you said it's 2 years to prepare. There's paddling that you're doing. You're on the water practicing those skills, but it's very physical. Were you doing any training out of the water to prepare for this?
Yeah, we've been training in the gym. We're all very active people. So some of us are doing rock climbing also. Some of us are doing kayaking, running. So it's been a very complete type of training, since it's not only specific muscles, but it's using our whole body. So we have to be creative.
And I take it you guys will be doing the social media thing even on the trip? You'll be posting along the way?
Yeah. Yes, we have a drone with us. We have some good cameras, GoPros. We will be filming many points of view and be sharing at the same time on the spot. And we also want to share with the people following us some challenges. So, for example, if we have been under the rain for many days and we're struggling to start a fire, we'll challenge the people following us to maybe try to start a fire in the rain or something like that.
Well, listen, I wish you guys
safe travels, good
Thank
weather,
you.
and calm waters.
Yeah.
I know you're not going to face that when you get to certain areas, but that's the whole key. And I look forward to speaking to you when you get back to find out much more about the trip.
Yeah, thank you very much, Mark. It's a pleasure talking to you.
Thank you. Take care, and we will speak to you when you return home safely.
Awesome.
Lots of action all around the city in youth sports.
Yes, and some money being handed out too.
Surprise.
Yeah, no, it's for student athletes. They
I
need
know.
it. They need it. Beneva, in partnership with the Aleo Foundation, awarded 23 student athletes for the 15th time. And this time they gave out $100,000, and that was distributed among the recipients. And among those receiving bursaries were 7 local student athletes. You had artistic gymnast Laurie Denome and Simone Huang, whose sport is badminton, and both of those hail from Laval. You had Kirkland's Florence Hamel, who's a speed canoe kayaker, diver Amelia Lauren Jasmine from Saint Laurent, table tennis ace Edward Lee from Lachine, Hudson's Jacob Townsend, whose discipline is sailing, and diver Nathan Zombor Murray from Point Claire. And Lee and Zombor Murray are both heading to Paris as part of the Canadian Olympic team, so congratulations to them.
And in Saint Laurent news,
We had CS Saint Laurent, who were Quebec League One's champions, made some Quebec soccer history as the first semi-pro team to advance to the TELUS Canadian Championships quarterfinals. And they hosted Major League Soccer's Toronto FC last week at the Complex Sportif Claude Robillard. Now, the outcome was a 3-0 win by Toronto in a game where CS Saint Laurent did themselves proud. I mean, it took a trio of goals in the second half for Toronto to take the road victory in the first leg of the series. But in the first half, Saint Laurent took it to the visitors, much to the delight of the almost 6,500 fans on hand, but they were unable to find the back of the net. The bottom line was that try as hard as Saint Laurent could, conditioning became a factor in the second half because it was a match of the players who worked day jobs to pay the bills versus professionals who were paid to train and be at their best. The second leg of the series will now take place on May 21st on the BMO pitch in Toronto, and CS Saint Laurent is deep because Toronto had 3 away goals, which counts for more in the scoring. But no doubt the boys from Saint Laurent will leave everything on the pitch because they play with a lot of pride.
Excellent. And one of our favorite teams, a team that seems to be coming up in your headlines a lot. The Trojans are back.
Well, the team names seem to make the rounds. You'll have a lot of Trojans, you have a lot of Wildcats, you have a lot of Cougars. But the Pierrefonds Community High School Trojans held off a comeback bid by the Westwood Senior High School Wildcats for a 5-3 win in juvenile boys GMAA baseball at George Springate Park. Dylan Schreindorfer picked up the win with 3 innings work, and Luca Fuoco closed out the game for the Trojans. The Trojans took a 5-0 lead in the bottom of the first and then held on for the win after Liam Ring took over on the mound from the second inning for Westwood, and he handcuffed the PCHS hitters the rest of the way. The Wildcats were good for 3 hits, including a 2-bagger by Tyler Koziak, and took advantage of some Trojan miscues to score 3 runs in the top of the 4th, but they couldn't add to that, and that was the end of the game, and the score stood at 5-3 for the Trojans.
And in the next edition, you got some news from the Montreal Alliance.
Yeah, the Montreal Alliance of the Canadian Elite Basketball League are in preseason mode. They're practicing and getting the roster ready, which is important because they're going to be hosting the CEBL Championship weekend this year. They've got a berth in it automatically, but they want to be there by saying we want our way into it during the course of the year. Roxborough's Riverdale Wrestling Club will catch up with that club. We'll have baseball, soccer, and flag football coverage as well.
Excellent. Thank you, Mark. Anthony, always a pleasure. And this has been the Suburban Radio Hour. I'm Beryl Wiseman, editor of the Suburban. Continue having a great Victoria's Day weekend, and we'll be back with you next week.